In this WrestleTalk news, all the details on Bray Wyatt's release, including backstage heat with Vince McMahon, Adam Cole's WWE contract expiring, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news. You see that jump there on the subscribe graph? That was last Wednesday when I danced for you if you'd subscribe. And it got us our single biggest daily subscriber gain for the whole year. So, come on, please subscribe now. I've got to talk about people losing their jobs while I'm dancing.
Support WrestleTalk!
In February 2020, Randy Orton attacked Matt Hardy on Raw in Hardy's final WWE segment. The following month, Hardy debuted in AEW. In January this year, Orton squared up against both Big Show and Mark Henry on the Legends Night Raw. That was also to be their last WWE appearances, as several months later, both men had signed with AEW. And after Orton clashed with Christian throughout his Edge feud, Christian would then debut for AEW at their Revolution pay-per-view. And now, after he was shockingly released on Saturday, Bray Wyatt's final WWE match will be losing to Orton at WrestleMania 37 Night 2. He's the contract killer now. Or Randy is a secret AEW mole in WWE, writing top wrestlers off TV so Tony Khan can sign them. Quick, Chad Gable, just start feuding with Orton. Because why not? That makes more sense than the reported truth. WWE released one of their most creative and over wrestlers from the last decade, who was hugely popular with fans, was effectively a gimmick-producing machine, and also was amongst the company's highest merchandise sellers. Because of budget cuts. Here's the story so far. Bray Wyatt had only wrestled once since December 2020 in WWE, and his now final match in the company, a WrestleMania 37 loss to Orton. Before then, he had last competed in the pre-recorded Firefly Inferno match at last year's TLC. His last WWE appearance was a Firefly Funhouse promo the Raw after WrestleMania, and then he wasn't seen or heard from again. It appears the reason for his absence was injury-related, as Dave Meltzer has revealed on Wrestling Observer Radio that Wyatt had just been medically cleared to return to the ring. WWE had started advertising him for live events in August, and a photo emerged of him on Facebook looking in great shape, doing the Muscle Man dance presumably. Additionally, both PW Insider and Ringside News have reported Wyatt was off TV for a medical reason, not for any creative discontent, like having your Orton feud result changed on the weekend of WrestleMania to Wyatt losing now, which also happened during all this. Much like Aleister Black, who had just returned to SmackDown 2 weeks before he was released by WWE, the promotion was preparing for Wyatt's return, with creative plans apparently in place, but then, for whatever reason, money, they just decided to cut him. Wyatt was reportedly contacted by the Grim Reaper of WWE contracts, the reappointed head of talent relations John Laurinaitis, and told on Saturday he was being released due to budget cuts. A notification was then sent to the rest of the talent roster on WWE's internal app a few minutes before the company publicly announced the news on Twitter. PW Insider then confirmed that Wyatt had not asked for his release. This was not a case like Andrade back in March, who wanted out of the company, but more like Braun Strowman, who had a big money long-term contract that WWE management presumably no longer saw value in. It's a reason many WWE stars apparently don't believe. The roster was described as stunned on hearing the news, especially because of The Fiend's high sales for t-shirts and action figures, along with how the character has been used for WWE's licensing deals, like the official WWE Fiend emoji snood for instance, or Alexa Bliss. PW Insider note the people behind Wyatt's release are CFO Christina Salen and, once again, WWE President Nick Khan. Both Salen and Khan joined WWE last summer after Vince abruptly fired two of the most powerful longtime people in the company last January, his right-hand executives Michelle Wilson and George Barrios. Salem was the former CFO of Etsy, while Khan is the man behind WWE's mega money deals with Fox and NBC Universal. McMahon has reportedly given Khan in particular more power than anyone other than himself in WWE history, which the president has been using to ruthlessly cut costs since WrestleMania, releasing over 40 wrestlers and even more backstage corporate staff. PW Insider described described Khan and Salen as obsessed with the company not being even one iota in the red, i.e. losing any money at all, which is a pretty manic obsession given WWE has never been further away from the red, posting its highest ever profits in Thursday's earnings call, making almost $250 million in the last 3 months, which is why the singular release of Wyatt is so difficult to wrap your head around. Other releases have come in batches of talent, 5 or more names altogether, and they also come during the weekdays, not on a Saturday 2 weeks after your big return in front of fans, when you need all the big name drawing talent you can get. And there's still the fact that Wyatt alone would probably justify his expense with the amount he brought in from merchandise sales, which is why a few other details from all the various reports are so interesting. PW Insider notes in their report that Wyatt's relationship with McMahon behind the scenes ran very hot and cold at times, hinting towards disagreements between the two. Fightful implies something similar, writing that the creative team were told Wyatt was getting protective of his character after so many poor booking ideas and decisions had been given to him, although it was noted the writers were only told this second-hand and not from Wyatt himself. It's not just us that aren't buying the budget cuts reason either, as Fightful is reporting almost nobody backstage in WWE believe it, noting nearly 20 people in the company said they're very frustrated right now. This has caused the backstage morale to nosedive amongst talent, with several veteran roster members saying they don't feel like their jobs are safe any longer. Many wrestlers both in and outside WWE did tweet publicly their support for Wyatt. Mick Foley wrote, "With WWE's release of Bray, the company has lost a true visionary and a creative genius, one of the most innovative makers of mayhem pro wrestling has ever seen. Here's hoping Bray finds happiness and recreates himself once again, in wrestling, in life, or both." Bray's former Wyatt family follower Braun Strowman tweeted, "Brother, I'm waiting," with an image of them both about to hug from their SmackDown feud last summer. Dear God, was that only last summer? And Wyatt's most recent Fiend friend, Alexa Bliss, posted, "I really am at a loss for words. Alexa, stop. Now's not the time. I really am at a loss for words. Thank you so much, Wyndham, for everything you've done for this company. The most fun I've had is working with you. Such an amazing talent and the most kind person. I'm just in shock." Unfortunately for Bliss, she's left with her version of Wyatt's Fiend gimmick in WWE, which will probably draw her some heat. And some fans are already giving it to her on Twitter, deciding to blame her for WWE's bad decisions. Mickie James was released by WWE in April, who then sent her belongings in a trash bag. She's become a critical voice of the company since, and tweeted following Wyatt's release, "I think what you meant to say was, thank you so much for coming up with such an incredible gimmick. Time and time again, one so cool and over, we really didn't know how to book it right. So we just gave it to someone else, so we can still make all the money off it and let you go." Woman shrugging emoji. Exploding head emoji. Mickie then had to clarify that tweet. "This isn't against Alexa. I love her. She's an incredible performer who is killing it in a role she was given. She always does. We, as artists, take every role we're given and turn it into gold. He, she, they both did that. Like it, not, facts are facts. So sorry if that offends you." Unfortunately, there was a group of people ready to hate on Bliss and apparently began hounding her on Twitter. Her account is currently protected, meaning only approved followers can now see her tweets. But what next for Bray? Many have pointed to Vince's comments on Thursday's WWE earnings call, where he said of AEW, "I'm not so sure what their investments are as far as their talent is concerned, but perhaps we can give them some more." Well, he might have just handed them one on a silver platter, as Wyatt's 90-day non-compete clause will expire on the 29th of October, just 2 days before Halloween this year, or 2 years to the day that The Fiend won the Universal Championship in Saudi Arabia. That is also a Friday this year, perfect for a spooky edition of AEW Rampage, and is also the week before AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view. Wyatt has updated his Instagram bio to read "Cult of Wyndham coming soon," and Code Orange, the band behind his entrance music, said they'd record his new song for wherever he ends up next. What do you think of the whole Bray Wyatt situation, and where do you think he'll go next? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying to people for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from outer but But maybe Wyatt was old, past it. You need to focus on the next generation of wrestlers to head WWE into the future. People like Adam Cole, whose contract is reportedly expiring this month. God damn it, WWE! Shockingly, Wrestling Inc. first broke that Cole's WWE contract will run out sometime in August this month, at which point he'll become a free agent, meaning he can walk into any other wrestling promotion in the world right away. It was rumoured he'd extended his deal through to 2024, but both Wrestling Inc. and Fightful now write this is not the case. His contract actually expired after June's Great American Bash show, but both sides extended it through to SummerSlam to give them more time to figure out what to do. Fightful crazily adds, though, that this caught WWE management as much by surprise as it did us, because officials thought his contract expired in December this year. Cole is said to be very accommodating though, and has agreed to work through SummerSlam weekend to re-evaluate things afterwards. While his real-life girlfriend, Britt Baker, is over in AEW as their women's champion along with many of his very close friends, he is also reportedly very well liked in NXT. It's not a given he'll jump ship, although he doesn't have anything left to do in the promotion apart from get called up, and that rarely goes well. On top of all of this, Raj Giri of Wrestling Inc. is also reporting a big name has asked for their release and got it, but points out it's not someone who's wrestling every week. So just let me check who Randy Orton's feuded with in the last year. Yep, I'm going with you, Ric Flair.
Number 3, Wrestling Observer fan banned from NXT. NXT this week was moved to the Sci-Fi Channel to make room for those pesky Olympics, and was also pre-taped. As is the nature with pre-taped episodes, spoilers can often leak from fans in attendance of the shows, or if there are no fans, sometimes members of your own roster can do it, like at the Great American Bash last year. The guy who did that has still never been seen again.